Now, as promised, the Gauteng Infrastructure Development and Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Department has unveiled a new digital support platform for the province's infrastructure projects. Now, we often hear about delayed projects and challenges that are sometimes facing different projects. So how will this platform then help? MEC Jacob Mamabolo is joining us in studio to help us understand this. MEC, thank you so much for your time. This particular platform, how will it work?
Firstly, good evening to you, to all the viewers. Let me thank you for the opportunity you have given to us and say that as the Gauteng provincial government, we're very much pleased that in almost 100 days of being in office, we can celebrate this very important milestone that we have been working on to build what I can call, we call it the Infrastructure Delivery Platform, IDEP. It is a digital platform to precisely deliver high-quality infrastructure within price or cost agreed upon, and of course, most importantly, faster, quicker. It doesn't work alone. So it is an ecosystem. It is supported by other 5 policy interventions, because you can't solve infrastructure delivery with just one solution. How it will work is that we have at our head office, in the provincial office, what we call Lutsinga Infrastructure Nerve Center, which is a room like this, fitted with screens where we sit and physically monitor, intervene, troubleshoot on projects with our managers. Now the difference here is we're taking the physical part and moving it to digital platforms. So that is why now, wherever one is, you are able to see the projects that we are running. Okay. Because infrastructure delivery is not just about having enough money and budget to deliver infrastructure. In actual fact, what we have identified as a big problem is that even with the little money allocated, budgeted for, we still see money not being spent. And in certain instances, money for infrastructure is being, even with local government, is being returned to the national fiscus. So, because of poor spending. So the problem we are trying to solve is over and above the need for money to finance infrastructure, but we are trying to deal with the nuts and bolts, the delivery pipeline, by opening it and making sure that we manage all the risks.
You mentioned something very critical, and that's the issue of cost. That you say that these projects need to be done within cost. Sometimes we see these projects go on for too long, and then they end up costing, in other instances, double what would have been budgeted for. So how does this particular platform, and with all the other support, then ensure, in practical terms, that things actually go according to plan?
So the reason why we see projects being delayed, in our view, it's because, remember, each project has got its own difficulties and challenges. Okay? So you can't put infrastructure projects on autopilot and then it happens. Because each one of them has got its own risks. The assistance that we're getting here, the practical way this will work is that it gives us all the necessary data and information required to troubleshoot, to make decisions, to intervene, to know what actually is supposed to be done at a particular time. Let me give you an example. We are monitoring here a problem that is well known. Is a contractor working, or is the project disrupted by extortionists, project mafia? Have they closed the site? Now, if we don't have a digital platform like this, because this information is updated every Friday, before 12 o'clock, our officials must have updated the project. So we are able on a weekly basis, so every Monday afternoon, because they report Friday, Monday afternoon, we sit, we check each one of them, what are the issues that are troubling it. So if there's an issue of construction mafia, extortionists that are stopping sites, that are disrupting sites, we are then able to respond promptly to that immediately, because one of the factors that cause delay is that you've got a construction site closed for 6 months. As the political leadership, the senior management of the department, even themselves, have got no way of knowing that there's no activity on site. The other risk we manage is the contractor invoicing. So here we are able to see every month the contractor has invoiced. Because if you don't see the invoicing, you are unable to see that work has been done.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, so this tool was developed for us by the department in the province we call eGov, but also supported by the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR. So CSIR has also supported us with what we call the portfolio of evidence. It gives us, we use drones to take pictures to see what work has been done every week. So the pictures also are able to tell us if it's foundation, we can see every work that there's work been done. If things are just standing still, we're able to know immediately. So what has kept projects being delayed, and of course, projects that are in distress, projects that have reached tipping points, accumulating, like now we're sitting with about 55 in the province of projects that have dismally failed. The reason why that happened is precisely lack of data for prompt, swift decision making, for troubleshooting, for responding. We also check supply chain. You know, construction projects, infrastructure projects are about supply chain. We need to know the committees that award bids and tenders. Are they meeting? Are they sitting? Are they making decisions? Contracts that are being concluded. How long did it take to conclude a contract? So has the contractor taken side? Do you also have
access to information as to, you know, the bidding process, who gets awarded that tender? Do they then deserve to have that tender? Do you also have access to that information? So
one of the things that we monitor here on a project is we want to know if this project is delayed, how many suppliers like contractors and engineering firms work on it? Can we have all their names? We also, by the way, get to see the details of the project manager. We also have their contact number. So we will know that the track record of, okay, these people have failed as before. That means they mustn't get another opportunity. We don't use the system to interfere with decisions on allocations, but at least we know all people who have failed. Yeah. One of the, so I've said this is an ecosystem. There is another policy that is supporting it. We call it the Infrastructure Governance Lab. What we are dealing with there is we see projects failing, contractors abandoning sites, leaving our projects underperforming. They are not being blacklisted. They tend to come back. Yeah. So we are reinforcing this with those that have really underperformed and failed our projects. They shouldn't be given more work. So it helps us with consequence management, with doing oversight on those that have failed. So that is why I'm saying the infratech capability that we're putting here, it empowers us to work. It's not as if we're putting projects on autopilot and then we all go to bed, the projects will run themselves. No, it's not that. It simply means we are data-driven, data-centered decision-making, because currently every official has got the truth sitting with them like this. You sitting there, you have got your laptop. So we have no single view of the truth. We can't all see what's going on. And the truth depends on who you're talking to. So in order to deliver infrastructure efficiently, effectively, within cost, within budget and time, we have decided to leverage smart technologies so that we can make sure every rand that is spent to grow the economy, to create jobs, to empower people, and every cost incurred, we can see what did we buy with the money. So we want to make sure that we migrate infrastructure delivery process to where technologies. We're talking about the fourth industrial revolution. We're no longer building the Egyptian pyramids, the old days. So that's what we're trying to do. But I just want to correct that, it just empowers us to work better.
And you talk about empowering yourselves. You've alluded to it a little bit, but I want us to touch more on it, because somebody's watching us tonight and they say, as a member of the public, will I have access to this? And how then can I be able to get information on different projects? Will I have access to it, or is it just for officials?
So the project is, the capability firstly It's for the leadership of the department, for all our client departments. We built schools for the Department of Education. They also want to know, where are we? Department of Health and all of them. So those departments will also get access, especially those that are working with us. Just last week, Thursday, we were with the portfolio committee demonstrating the technology to them. As public representatives and people that represent members of the public, they've also asked for access, because in order for them to do proper oversight and represent communities and crack the whip and make sure there's consequence management, they need data, because you shouldn't do oversight by just reacting, by just gut feel, in a very spontaneous way. So they will also have it as public representatives. So to that extent, I think we have covered both the political, administrative, management leadership, but also the public representatives that represent the people. Just on Wednesday and Thursday, we are hosting the local government turnaround summit, and SABC also responsible for COCTA. We also want to have a conversation with municipalities to say to them, here's a capability, how do we make it available to you? Because municipalities also have a same challenge of poor performance on infrastructure, so that we can build Gauteng as a smart province where infrastructure perform, we can grow the economy, we can create jobs, because the money that we spend as a province, that's spent by municipalities, City of Joburg, the metros, and the local municipalities, combined can reduce poverty, can create jobs, can empower people.
You speak about the summit for municipalities. There is a concern right now. I was in conversation earlier on with the Minister of Health around the suspected food poisoning cases, and the fact that COCTA now, even at national level, was also seized with the issue of the bylaws. But you do have communities who say that municipalities simply aren't implementing the bylaws, and that's why people are able to open spaza shops anywhere and everywhere, and the laws are not being, simply being kept.
So that's in one of the commissions that we're going to have, which will be an extensive area of discussions, is law enforcement integration. Municipal police, metro police, working with the province, and of course even with SABC, to make sure that we deal with all issues relating to acts of criminality, but most importantly, municipalities need to make sure that they also enforce municipal bylaws, because that is also another area of great concern. So the issues of enforcement of bylaws and all laws requires three spheres of government to work together. So it is one of the issues that we'll be looking at, and make sure that we strengthen law enforcement capacity and make sure that Gauteng is a safe province and people feel safe, the laws are enforced, because we are the economic hub of the country. So we have got to be equal to the task and manage this province in such a way that we can grow the economy, create jobs, empower people. Because if we fail in Gauteng, we're pulling the rest of the country down. That's why we need to be to do our best to work even much more harder.
MEC, thank you so much for that. And let's see then what comes out from your conversations later this week. As you say, it's an important part of the conversation, but thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. That was the Gauteng Infrastructure Development and Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, MEC Jacob Mamabolo.